Hi, I'm Kevin, and I'm here to answer this question. So the question is, what equation has the roots of -4 and -5? So first of all, there is a vocabulary component to this. Roots is just another word for solutions. So what this means is, in this equation, x equals -4 and x equals -5 to make that true. So what that really means is that we have to break this equation into its two components, and we have to make it such that, x equals -4 and that x equals -5. So how do we do that? So that means that there are two ways to do this. First of all, if we write that x equals -4, what we want to do is make that so that this one component of this equation will actually equal 0. So what we're going to do is add 4 to each side. And rewrite our equation so we know that x plus 4 equals 0. That's the first component of our equation. Seeing that, you might already know that the second component might also be x plus 5, but let me show you real fast. So what we're going to do, we know that x equals -5. So to get this equal to 0, because we want each component of the equation to be equal to 0, you're going to add 5 to each side, and we get that x plus 5 equals 0. And the reason why we set it equal to 0 is that when we're writing these equations that have roots, the way that we're going to solve for those or get the actual equation is that the full equation with the correct roots should equal 0. And that means, what that means is essentially that if we plug in -4 for x on one side of the equation, we want the left side, for example, when you plug in -4, to equal 0, and we set the right side equal to 0. It's really just a way of solving those equations, because we know if it's equal to 0, that then we have everything isolated to the other side. Anyways, that was helpful. So we have our two components, our x plus 4 times x plus 5. And again, we know that this is all equal to 0. So we're almost there to getting to our equation. This is the equation, but they're always going to want you to simplify it to the extent that you can. So that means we're doing multiplication. So we have to multiply these out. You've learned in other lessons, I'm sure, that x times x is x squared. X times 5 is 5x. We're going to go multiply this 4 out here. I'm sure you've learned how to multiply binomials before in another lesson, so I won't get into that. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 5 is 20. We see that we have some like terms here, so we add those. Get x squared plus 9x plus 20. And we can, if we'd like, I'm not going to do it on the screen here, but if you plugged in -4, remember that this should equal 0, right? If you plugged in -4 here, you get 16 plus a -36 plus 20 equals 0. And that is true, right? 16 plus -36, or 16 minus 36 is -20, plus 20 is 0. So -4 checks out. -4 is a solution to this equation. -5, if we check that as well, we get 25 minus 45, giving us -20 plus 20 equals 0. That also checks out and gives us 0. So that's how we check our work. Circle your answer. This is the correct answer. X squared plus 9x plus 20. Thanks so much for listening. Bye-bye.